morning, everybody. What is up, and welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Liz. I know, I've been absent. Your host here at Crimes Untold. Let's see. I've hurt my shoulder. My children have been sick. Got a lot. Just a lot has happened. And that's why there wasn't a video last week. Anywho, um, during my little break, I thought about it. I was just like, do I want to do a recap this week? I don't really know. So I've been looking into some old cases, and I've been looking into like the cold cases of the United States. There's a lot. I made a list. One for each state. Yeah. So there's 50 cold cases of the states. And today we're going to Indiana. Why Indiana, you may ask? I really like this lady's name. That's why. That's why. Also, if this is the first time you're stumbling upon my video, I'm sorry. I am extremely awkward. And my name is Liz. I talk about some creepy stuff here on this channel on Crimes Untold. I'm your host. I also have another channel, which is my actual name. But anywho, here on this channel, I like to talk about murder, disappearances, unsolved murders, solved murders, unsolved murders, all of the above. Crimes that are untold. Sometimes there are crimes that are told, but sometimes it's just not. Sometimes they're small-time crimes. Anywho, that's besides the point. Today we're going to be talking about the murder of Garnet Ginn. I like her name. That and my mother's birthstone is Garnet, so, and it's really pretty. It's like a nice ambery color. Anywho, so we are going to Portland, Indiana. So since February 28th of 1950, Portland, Indiana has been haunted by the unsolved murder of 33-year-old Garnet Eleanor Ginn. She was a school teacher of home economics. If you don't know what home ec is basically you learn the basics of at home. So economics at home, cooking, cleaning, sewing, just different things you don't think about that is told in that class. I had it when I was younger. I don't think they have it in classes anymore at schools. So she was a home ec teacher by trade at the local Portland high school, and she was completely adored by her community. What would happen to her would shake the community to its core, hence why it still haunts it to this day. So Garnet was found hanging in the garage of her home in which she rented. But hanging is a weird understatement. So the noose was a sewing belt that was tied around her neck and was attached to the passenger side door of her car. She was on her knees, Garnet I'm talking about, in the 14-inch space between the car and the door. So she was in between it with this on her neck. Yeah. So the superintendent of the school is the one that found her. And the reason why he found her is because he came by to check on her because she wasn't at school, which wasn't like her. And they called, she didn't answer. So he came to her home, or they came to the home. They looked in the house, no signs of life. And then they went to the garage, and this is where they found her. So it was strange to find her dead because she was very happy. She was living alone. She had just bought herself a brand new car, which was a 1949 Pontiac, and she started working on her master's degree, and she was just overall happy. So last time she was seen alive was she was leaving the country club that was local to the area, and she was leaving a sorority meeting there. So the sorority she belonged to was Psi Iota Chi. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. I'll put it on the screen. Her friends said that she had about $40 on her and offered to buy everybody a soft drink. At this time, mind you, $40 is a lot of money at this time in 1950. So you have to understand that's quite a bit of cash that she has on her in a country club at this time. So she was doing very well for herself. They also said that she had several gentlemen callers, but she didn't elaborate on that during their girl talk. They're in a sorority, they're going to talk. But she didn't say who. They also knew that she dropped this friend off following the sorority party at her home at 420 East High Street, which is in Portland. And she was also seen pulling into her home at 318 North Harrison Street, which is right around the corner from the police station. Weird. which is weird. So you got, like I already mentioned, she had money on her. That's a lot to have at the time. And why I'm going back to this is because at the crime scene, her wallet was gone. Yeah. So was this intent of possibly a robbery? But that wasn't all they found at the scene. Oh no. Oh no. What was used to hang Garnet from her car door was a sewing machine belt, so they found that. But did she commit suicide? After she was found, at first it seemed like her death was a suicide, so that's what it was deemed as. But that wasn't the case. So I'll kind of elaborate on this in a second. On her death certificate, it shows the word homicide in very faint writing above the word unknown. If I can find an image of it, I will put it in the screen, or I'll show it on the screen for you guys so you can see it because it's very faint and you can make out the word homicide. So this is really peculiar because it was ruled after she was re-examined. This is why I said I have to clarify about it. So her family, her parents, would ultimately have her body exhumed to be further re-examined because they didn't believe she committed suicide. She was a happy person. She was put together. She had everything going for her. And they didn't believe what the cops were telling them. Also, this would lead them to re-examine the scene. But there's a problem with that. 1950s protocol at scenes was not as it is now. There's a lot of disturbance at the scene. There was a lot of things that, people are touching without gloves on. So there's not a lot of crime scene preservation happening, if you catch my drift. Which, when the scene was examined, there was blood on the car. Her jacket was torn. Her gloves were soiled. There was a muddy handprint on the wheel flare of the car, which is what kind of like sparked her parents as to, hey, she didn't kill herself. So that really like sparked them. And then there was blood found around her and the car. There's also the sewing machine belt, and there was a broken wall support, which helps with a theory about the murder. So the broken wall support is potentially a theory that whomever killed her was waiting on the planks because it's kind of like a loft style garage. So the wall support and then there's planks above. Whoever killed her was waiting on the planks, and when she pulled into the garage, this person literally attacked her. It's an alternative theory. So that's one to think about. That, and with the blood on her car, it possibly could have been from her because they didn't take a sample. You never know. I will say when she was re-examined, they found signs that she was beaten and she was strangled. Her official autopsy proves that she had been hit 7 times in the head, in which they believe she was unconscious for post her beating. Ultimately, then she would be strangled to death, and then it was staged as a suicide, unfortunately. So back in 2019, the case was reopened. This is when these new theories are emerged, especially with the one of the person jumping down and attacking her. There's a theory, obviously, there's somebody laying in wait, so somebody attacking her. But there's also another theory. This other theory has to do with an optometrist and his wife, potentially, for killing Garnet Ginn. So the other strange thing now is that the sewing machine belt is missing. They can't find it. Any other evidence they had, they can't find it. Because what happens between, then and now, seeing as how that happened in 1950 and it's now 2024. So yeah, it's been 74 years since her murder. A lot of things have gone missing and are thrown out because people don't take care of these things, unfortunately. So that doesn't leave us with many options other than going back and talking to people that were alive at that time. Well, this optometrist, you ask. So this optometrist, about a month following the murder, packed up his things and moved. But that's not the only sketchy thing about this. I kind of also think that maybe if he is the prime suspect, which I believe he is, that he has something to do with the missing sewing machine belt as well. Because why else would it just go missing? Did somebody take it? Did somebody take it on purpose to cover it up? Things like that. Anywho, so with the optometrist, he moved. Super sketch. Like, you only do that unless you're trying to get away from something, especially that quick after somebody you possibly are involved with dies. So, back to the night of the murder. There was a teenager that saw something that night of the murder. When they were questioned, they provided details of a man of which they could name, give a physical description of, and give what this man did for a living, which was optometry. If you don't know what optometry is, it's an eye doctor. Well, they then described this man being at Garnet's home the night of the murder. So were they having an affair? It's possible that he was having an affair with Garnet, and then potentially his wife found out, and she obviously yelled at her husband. Husband then goes to Garnet and kills her because of it. So the man described as the optometrist is the same optometrist that was known to be stalking Garnet. There is a witness that unfortunately came forward in 2018. I don't know why it took him so long, but this witness knew about Garnet, knew about the optometrist, and knew that Garnet filed a police report for stalking against this optometrist just prior to her death. Maybe she moved on and he couldn't handle it. It's possible, but this man has never been publicly identified either. That's the problem. But seeing this man wasn't the only thing that was reported also that night. So back on the night of the murder, there was a neighbor that heard screams. At first, they thought it could have been a person, but then they figured it was a cat. This same neighbor then would report to see a shadow-like figure in Garnet's garage, but then decided, yeah, it could just be Garnet. I'm sorry, screams and a shadow figure, a big shadow figure. Yeah, I don't know. And the weird things don't stop there. No. Oh, no, no, no. So over the years, from 1950 up until it's between 2000 and 2005, weird phone calls came in to the police department. And I'm not just talking about prank calls. These phone calls were about leave it alone, leave Garnet Ginn's murder alone, and things like that, and making threats to stop it. If you don't stop, I'm going to come after you. Weird things like this. And it was always a man. And oftentimes he would just lay off the case and hang up. They were so quick they wouldn't be able to trace them. So who was this man? We don't know. Was it the optometrist? It's believed, because I went down the Reddit rabbit hole. Man, they're great down there. It's believed that this optometrist that they're talking about, that's still unnamed, died between 2000 and 2005, because that's the time frame in which the last phone call happened, and the optometrist died. So, what do you think? Because this is still unsolved to this day. This dude has never been publicly identified. Garnet's murder, obviously, is still unsolved. So what do you think? Leave your thoughts, comments, questions, concerned down in the comments below. I mean it. I mean it. If you're watching this, I mean it. I mean it. Whoever it is that's watching this. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Turn your post notifications on at all after you hit the subscribe button, and like this video. Because when you like it, it tells the algorithm that you like it. And then these videos come out. And they go, and they go, and they go, and they go. And more people watch them. I'm being very assertive today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!